Warning, this video is only for 14 and up, and if you're under, please leave this video because I will not be accused of something I don't want to be accused of. Please, if you're under, leave the video. Stories go through the air. You can listen and you cannot. But stories are here to help. Understand what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes stories can do the opposite. There's no right or wrong. You have to form your own opinion. But that is not what you're here for. You're here to listen to this silly little god of this channel listens to his mind going on about his stories, about the different worlds where he's traveling to, and where he can make some small different in a timeline. Welcome to the Blue Mask What If channel. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys will enjoy. Let's begin. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. We are continuing What If Deku was in danmachi, or the other title, What If My Hero Academia characters was in danmachi. Now, where we last left off, Belle and Luffy has arrived to the village of the Argonauts, or what I call their subspecies of other species. They have arrived and informed everyone about the situation, with Regia coming to their doorstep to invade them and capture them for the fight against Dorario. There was a meeting with the Bear clan, the Wolf clan, and the Eagle or Hawks clan. I don't think there was a fourth one. I only think there's three are the Bear, the Wolf, and the Hawk. They all talked, and then the Regia army is on their doorstep right now. So they're being prepared to fight, and that is where we're gonna pick up. So yeah, that's mostly it. This will be a short intro. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you have a long question you want to be answered, I will answer them in the I play through Monster Hunter World again, or I play through Monster Hunter Iceborne for the first time. That series, that long answer you have, I will answer them there. But shorter questions, I will answer on the videos themselves. So yeah, that's it. I hope you like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's begin. It's been 3 hours since the meeting between all of the leaders of the, of the families. The Bear family, the Wolf family, and the Eagle family. And right now, everyone is setting up for a fight against Regia's small army that's coming to their doorstep. Belle is right now getting some arrows in his quiver and sharpening, well, not actually sharpening his blade because I think, it's a long time since Belle got a hunting knife or hunting sword from Hestia. But he checks on his other gears he has gotten, like traps and some, what he was told by a member of the Wolf family, a fire bomb, a actual bomb that just spreads fire. It was in a container and he has around 3 of them on him. Belle looked over at his sister Luffia to see what she was doing. She's also getting ready, having potions on her belt and some and a small dagger she has gotten from a random bear family member from the bear family. She has it on him for, not him, on her for safety's sake if she can't cast magic fast enough. He walks over to her to ask if she was ready, and she was. I just hope we get through this. It's a small army, we can get through it. Yeah, but there's not a lot of fighters, are there? I mean, like, me, you, probably Uncle Sword and Uncle Althea. Uncle Althea. And Althea is probably gonna help, but I think they have still their diseases, like Althea's and Mitria's, they have them, but Mitria's were smaller than the cannon, so she didn't die in childbirth. Althea is also a little weaker, but she could have children, so that helpful. Sard has his disease. Luckily, their children doesn't have it. Luckily for them. But yeah, they still have it, but they're getting smaller and smaller over the years because of some medicine they have gotten. But it's still there and bothering them a lot. I do believe they can still fight very well, even with their, diseases or sickness. I hope so. After getting all of their gear on, Belle and Lufia walks out towards the edge of the town, where they have seen there are big crossbows on some few places in front of the town. Walking up, they see actually Sard and Althea talking with some of the the main family leaders of the wolf and bear family. The leader of the bear family has a huge axe, I think I said, or a hammer, but I believe I will say an axe on him, with his bear companion that's a huge black bear by his side, with 2 scars on the bear's chest. The wolf family leader, I think I said he was an elf or a animal. It doesn't really matter. He has a sword on him by his side, a normal size sword, with his wolf companion by his side. It was a white wolf. Belle walks over, hearing what they are gonna do. The bears are in front, 15 of them. There's 15 members that can fight right now, and there is around 20 members of the wolf family that can fight. Only Sard and Althea from the hawk family could fight, but their fight is limited. And Belle and Lufia is also there at range. After they stopped talking, they walked away with Sard looking at Belle. Are you two ready? We are, but are you sure you can fight, Uncle Sard? I can fight as best as I can, even though my sickness has gone back a little. I can fight as best as I can with it. And, child, I can fight as best as I can. Even though the disease has limited my power, I can fight as best as I can. So me and Lufia are... You and Lufia are gonna stay back with some few members of the wolf people. Five wolf family members are gonna stay with you on top of the hill. Pointing at the five, there was five giant crossbows around the edge of the village. They will stay at the edge of the village with, I said, there's 15 bear members. 4 bear members is gonna stay and help you fight if Regia's army gonna come through. The rest of us will go down and try to convince them to turn around. Stay here, okay? And get ready to fire if they attack us. Got it. Bell went over to where the crossbows people were, seeing that they're setting up spikes for, well, in front of the village. No, I think I didn't mention, there is a wooden wall around the village for safety's sake. I didn't mention this because that is out of my head, but the gate is huge as fuck. So, in the snowstorm that they came from, you couldn't see the wall that well, but there is a giant gate in front of the village. So Belle stepped outside of the walls where the crossbow people were. They weren't behind because they don't have, well, people to check on the wall. They mostly go around it. Belle stood there. Belle and Lufia stood outside of the walls with the people I just mentioned that stood on the crossbows. 5 members of the wolf people stands on the crossbow with swords or weapons they have and spears. Bear family standing beside them with axes, hammers, or maces. All of them has their companions with them, being from polar bears to brown bears to black bears, whatever bear kind. Then the wolf family has wolf companion with them. White wolf, black wolf, gray wolves, whatever they got, they have them. Lufia and Bella standing there with their 2 hawks on their shoulders. Standing and waiting, seeing the rest of the people walking down the mountain a little to stand in front of the Regia army, as there's not a snowstorm right now. See them walking up, a few members being around 200, 200 members of the Regia army coming up towards them. Belle looks at Sard, Althea, and the 2 family leaders walking forward towards the army. When the both armies stops, a 2 leader from Regia's army comes forward. Belle doesn't hear the conversation of what is going on, but Belle has a feeling it will not go well. Taking an arrow out and putting it on his string. Lufia, start casting, but quietly as possible, and slowly as you can. Got it. Belle looks over at one of the wolf members that nodded, seeing the look from Belle. Everyone on top can realize that the talk is not going well. So they got ready with, big metal arrows they have in storage to lock them on the weapons. Giant crossbow they have, aiming it down to the army in front of their little force. The man that talked with Sard and Althea huffed for what Bell could see and went behind his army. Sard and Alfie and the others stood in front of theirs. In a few moments, the Reiki army goes with shields, and the first line of the Reiki army stands in front with spears and shields. But after some few moments, a flying monster came over to them. This being a harp. 3 harpies came towards them. Seeing this, Bell immediately fired his arrow downrange, hitting the harpy in its head, one of the harpies in its head. Luthia casting 2 of her magic arrows down and hitting the 2 others. The Reiki army still stood there, but what Bell could see was little shock, maybe? Or just anger on them. 5 lines of the army splits opens up, and monsters just rushed forward. Well, cages of monster was dragged forward and open. Some few bear monsters and some few lizard people rushed out of the cages with monsters. Bell knocks an arrow, but some members of the bear family rushed forward with the family head as well, clashing with the bears and lizard people. Bell waits to see what else would go on. Then some of the members of the Reiki army rushed forward to fight, with the wolf family rushing forward. In front of them, Bell just hear fire from one of the members of the wolf clan. 5 big arrows was launched forward over their side and into the middle of the Reiki army, hitting the ground and probably hitting a few people. Bell saw one person being launched up, but he couldn't see what else happened, and Bell started to fire some arrows down. Via casting a few magical arrows. This grudge match between their family and others took 10 minutes to, for what Bell thinks how long it took to, with the Reiki army going back a little. Bell didn't know why, but Bell had a bad feeling. I think a few cages in. I said one of them. Violas, maybe. Whatever they call. Bell hear a ground breaking below him. Well, in front of him were 2 bear family members and a wolf family member stood, confused. Remembering what this felt like, Bell immediately rushed forward and grabbed the wolf family member and her animal companion, and just ripped her off of the big crossbow. She was shocked for a few moments before the giant vine monster came up from the ground, crushing the giant crossbow. Bell immediately pushed her away from an attack from the vine monster. Bell wouldn't know the actual name of the monster, would he? No, I don't think he would. Bell blocked it with his, hunting sword, but he still got pushed heavily back. One of the bear family members, a giant old man with a hammer, jumped up into the air and slamming his hammer into the neck part of the giant monster, slamming it into the ground, hurting it. Bell still blocking so he doesn't get eaten by this monster, doesn't notice that he's being dragged towards the hole that it just came from. Belle hears a scream from Luthia and seeing her rush forward, but seeing that he's going faster away from her. Then he sees that he's lifted up because he's not trying to be eaten right now. And Belle being dragged underground. Luthia, for what Belle could see when he was being dragged down, jumped into the hole with him. And when Luthia came to, he grabbed her and she cast magic. Was casting magic when they were, flung down into a cavern with a pool of water. Landing in it, both of them stood up and shakes off the water that was down there. Great, we are away from the others. Yeah, but we have more problems. Belle looked around to see that some few monster that was not a part of the Regia army was in this cave, being some goblins and kobolds. Great. Belle unsheathed his blade and Luthia draws her knife, and both of them fence off the low-rank goblins and kobolds that was in here. It took 2 minutes. To be honest, there's no fight. After, this, Belle stood there. Stood there with Luthia looking around the cavern after killing all these 15 monsters. Looking around for the vine monster. After a few moments, it came from above and down towards them. Belle immediately pushed him and Luthia out of the way when it crashed on the ground, getting up and screaming at them. Belle pulled out his bow and arrow and shoots the monster with his arrows. It blocks it. It turned around to block it with its scales, and then turned around again and tried to attack them. Belle immediately grabbed his blade again by his side and swung it, cutting into one of its flower petals, and it cuts it off, but also sends it away from him and Luthia. At this point, Luthia cast a ice magic that she did on the other violas in the Monstophilia, freezing the whole cavern and freezing the viola in place. Belle immediately rushed forward and cuts into the viola, or the plant monster. But it doesn't get through, and he had to, take it out and just cuts and cuts and cuts before Belle cuts the head off of the monster. He also hits the crystal of it, shattering it. When that happened, the ice broke around the monster and the cave went quiet. Damn it, where should we go now? We can't get up. We can't go up. Looking up at the hole they just came from, it was too long to climb up. Find an entrance? Yep. It took 7 minutes for them to get out of the cave area, but finding out they're behind the enemy lines of Regia people. Oh shit. Fuck. Luthia immediately casts, some few arrows hitting They were at the right side on their side of the regular armies. Right. Bell and Luffy hits that part of the army, and Luffy sees that she has killed a few with that attack, but at this moment she just doesn't speak. When the army that was there saw it, they turned around and rushed down to Bell and Luffy. Seeing this, they went back into the cave area. But what Bell could see, there was around probably 20 people that rushed after them. Bell and Luffy Bell launched arrows that the people they just attacked. Bell killed or hit 2 and killed 1. Well, Bell killed 1, hitting him in the neck from behind. Luffy killed with her light arrows 4 of them, killing 5. They rushed back into the caverns of the monster den they just killed off. Bell took off. They went around a corner and stopped there for a moment. Bell looked at the cavern they just came from and saw the 3 regular people walking forward with spears and shields walking forward. Bell looked to Luffy that was drinking a potion. I'm casting one of the fire things I got. Okay. Bell grabbed it and threw. Bell was told to just throw it, not to pull anything, just throw the thing. It will crack and destroy itself when it's thrown. Bell stepped out and threw the thing at the 3 people that was there. It was not a big cavern, by the way. It hits in front of them and it exploded with fire, shocking Bell how much it was. Bell could hear screams coming from the corridor, and Bell took Luffy and ran. 5 minutes after Bell threw it, they arrived at the area they just fought the Viola. Bell turned around to not see anyone. Bell took off 2 of the grenades and waited for them. Or fire grenades, or fire bombs as they're called. Waiting for a few moments, some few other regular people rushed down the corridor and Bell threw the last 2 of them. Bell could not see how many he killed at that point because of the fire. Okay, that will give us a few minutes. Or something. Yeah, I would. Protect me. Sure. Bell stood in front of Luffy and the entrance they came from. When Bell hears someone casting magic from the hallway and water came through, cleansing out, and Bell could see that he has killed 8 people. He doesn't know how many he killed before, but 8 people was dead in front of them. Members starting to rush forward, being around 17 people. No, wait. I said 20 people went inside. 8 people are dead, plus 3, that is 11. So, 9 people rushed forward. I don't believe you have to cast a large spell. Still casting, protect me. Got it. Bell, having his bow in his hands, he pulled it out earlier, knocked 3 arrows and launched them down. 1 stood in front of the group, blocking the arrows from Bell. Damn it. Come forth, lightning fire! Bell knocked another arrow, activating his magic and sending them to the guy with shield. When it hit, it exploded the shield and launched the guy away down the hallway and hitting some of the other members. It took some few moments, but Bell sent a few more arrows down. People blocked with shields and Bell activated his magic. But after 2 minutes, Lufia casted a fire magic spell. The Riveria, the one Riveria have, but shorter and not more destructive. The magic spread down the hallway and activated, and goddamn, the screams were horrifying for both of them. After stopping, the people in front of them were dead. All of them. Breathing hardly, Bell sighed and asked, "So, that's not the way out?" "The only way out we could find." "That means up." Bell and Lufia sighed and they just had to wait. It was horrifying. They could hear screams above and still hear the screams in their mind of the people they just killed. After a few minutes, a rope was thrown down towards to Bell and Lufia with a wooden platform was there, a circle. Yeah, a rope would be thrown down to Lufia and Bell. Bell grabbed on, putting his, sword and bow away. Bell grabs onto the rope, making sure that his feet and arms were there. Lufia went over and hugged him so she can come up with him. It took 2 minutes for them to reach above again. Looking around, the devastation above wasn't great, but still big. The Reiki army, looking down, was retreating. They didn't have monsters and they could not fight the silent and the glutton. When they came on the battlefield. They also nicknamed the leader of the bears and the leader of the wolf pack as the Silent Wolf and the Brawling Bear, as they called them. The man that rushed away screamed, run away from the Brawling Bear and the Silent Wolf. But Bell could see a few casualties on their side, mostly injuries. But Regia, for the 25 men they killed, there were 50 men retreating with 20 men injured on their group. But the rest were dead, killed by the monsters they couldn't control, and killed by the, family members. Bell breathed out in shock of how the devastation was. "I didn't expect it to go this quick. The Reiki army has the Rarios on lease for a couple of days now. Maybe the fight is over? I don't know." "Are you two alright?" Bell looked over to see Sard and the leader of the bear family standing beside them. Those were the two that pulled them up. "We're fine, but..." "Give me a moment." Bell turned to the hole and threw up into it. Lufia putting her staff to the side and throwing up as well down to the hole. You did something, didn't you? We saw some few explosion behind after some few minutes. We killed 15 people. Oh, most of them was with fire. Oh, the smell is awful, so awful. Belle threw up again, and both the bear leader and the sword grimaced at this. After some few minutes of waiting, they were, well, they went back to the, town or the village of the Argonauts. They stood there, was in there for a few, went back to the house of the Hawks, Hawks family. Sorry, uh, sorry for being quiet for a few moments. They went back inside and sit down at a table. Bell was covered in blood because he did have to kill some few people that almost came to Lufia with his sword. Bell sat there in a actually in a glass room that's mostly a wall of glass that looks down the mountain on the other side of it. Down down the mountain, looking down at the mountain and the few trees you can see down below. Bell sat there. By his side was Lufia. Both of them had some tea that they got from, Hera, smiling at them, saying they did good. But right now, they were not feeling well. Mitsuria walked into the, room where her two children was. How are you two doing? Coming in with some food on some plates, setting them on the table they were sitting at, but they didn't start to eat. Is it wrong for me to feel guilt? I know I have killed before 2 times, but this wasn't an accident or anything else. Bell was on a seat when he curled himself up. Miteria, hearing the story of how he killed before when he visited, grabbed a chair and sat beside her son. I know it feels awful to kill. I have done it. Your father did it, and your uncle and aunt also did. For what Reikia's attacks wasn't safe as possible most of the time. There was a lot of bloodshed a lot of the time back then. There is a lot of bloodshed also. I know. I fought also. Your father did as well. And your reaction is the same one him and I had when we killed. We hate the feeling. But can I be a hero? I'm a hunter. I hunt people. I hunt monster, not people. I It's okay to feel this way. People have told you this, but this was on purpose. I killed people on purpose. It wasn't an accident this time. That's what happened in war. In battles. Well, it's traumatizing, I know. She grabbed Belle's head and hugged him, laying Belle's head on her chest so so Belle could hear her heartbeat. I want you to calm down and breathe. Your dream is to be a hero, a great hunter, right? A great adventurer and hunter and hero. Heroes has killed. Albert Wallenstein was Albert Wallenstein is one of them. Argonaut, true to believe, has killed in his past. The most story of the Fool of the Argonaut is not the entire story. Yeah, he did kill both of you. Mitria stopped hugging Belle and walked over to Lafia that was silently crying, grabbing grabbing her in front of standing in front of Lafia's chair and hugging her to her chest as well, with Lafia just hugging fiercely. Having a mother again is the greatest feeling she could have. After some few minutes of Lafia crying on Materia's shoulder, Lafia thanked her, and both of them still stared outside but started to eat, getting food back in their stomach. Both of you, you are good people. Sometimes good people does bad stuff. The world is not white or gray. It's not black, gray, or white. Choices between people. The people that do good can do awful things to others. People that did awful things to others can do great to others. The world is not black, white, or gray. It's complicated. It's white, gray, black, blue, white, yellow, red, whatever colors there is. It's complicated. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mama Alfia. No, Mama Mitria. Good. Mitria left them two alone, and both of them stared out to the, outside of the glass room. Wanna check on the fight in Norario? Yeah. Both of them sighed and activated the hawk's eye. The hawks were on the house roof of the house, but getting the information, they immediately flew off towards Orario. Both hawks glided fast through the air. It took 2 hours for them to arrive back in Orario. Yes, they are magical. They can most likely fly really, really fucking fast. But when they were looking, the fight was still going on, but the Regius army looks terrible. Flying over Bell's hawks and Lufia's hawks flies over the battlefield. The Regia and Orario was not fighting right now, so Bell and Lufia search for Loki or Hestia. Not finding them, Bell's and Lufia's hawks lands on the wall. Looking over the battlefield, they could not see, Loki or Hestia, meaning they're probably back at their manor, but they could see, Luf- well, Lufia spotted Bakugo standing beside, Deku, Kirishima, and Kaminari. Bell spotted Eyes standing with Tayona Tayoni and Uraka and Momo and Jiro. They talked a little about it, but Bells ordered the hawk to land it on Ai's shoulder, and Lufia ordered, well, asked, both of them asked their hawk to land it on their, well, Lufia's fiance and Belle's sort of girlfriend. It's still a question if they are. I think they're partners. They're partners in the sense of girlfriend, but not there yet, and girlfriend and boyfriend, but not there yet. When they landed, both of them landed on the shoulders. Eyes looked at Belle. Could not see what was happening with Lufia's hawk and Bakugo, but when the hawk landed on, well, Eyes, she looks at it, curious of Belle's hawk being there, looking at the magical, well, a fun fact I think I have mentioned or never mentioned. Belle's hawk always has, well, hawk's eyes, if I remember correct, or has more brown eyes. But when they are, well, Belle sees through the hawk's eye, he can. There's a little magic circle on its eye that's red, like Belle's eye. So, Eyes seeing the magical circle above one of the hawk's eye, realized that Belle was listening and seeing. Walking a little bit away from the group that she was with, she sat down on a rock that was nearby. Hello, Belle. The hawk hit, well, the hawk nodded with Belle asking it to do so she can, well, understand she is listening. You're probably wondering how it goes. Most of the monsters are dead down here. The Rekia army is doing their usual thing now. It's not the worst thing, but not the greatest either. Some few are dead from Rekia's side. Not a lot, a few cuts and bruises from ours. They probably will retreat, but we will probably capture Ares. That's our goal. Figure out how he got the plant monsters. How many? How did it go with you? Bell Bell asked the hawk to land it on the ground and write on the ground 25K. KI. You killed? It nodded, and Eyes understood that Bell is just want to, well, see Eyes and talk to her. The others are doing great as well. Bakugo is kinda sulking because he's missing Lufia. Mm. Tayona and Isuku is also doing well, the others as well. Haruhime and the others are asking for you. Probably waiting for you to come back. And I do miss you, Belle. I will want to train with you when you get back. But if you need time, take your time to come back. Belle Hawks nodded and Belle sighed and deactivated the hawk magic. But at that, Eyes were looking at the hawk when he deactivated the magic. He could not his skill. Looking over at Lufia that Oz had, well, turned off her hawk's eye before him. So he missed me and wanted to console me when I get back. I see. Both of them looks out the window and sighed. Both of them sighed. This will probably take a little while for us. Uh, yeah. Both of them looked out the window and just stared. This was a terrible fight for both of them, but it shouldn't have happened if Rekia didn't just leave people alone. This is it from this episode. I know it's mostly sad, and I had this conversation with Belle. Well, this conversation with Belle and the others before. I know I've made that, but this was a different situation with killing. There's a lot of killing in this series, but yeah, it's more grayer than other series I have. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Good morning, goodbye for a while. See you later. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Bye bye.